Thank you, Lucia, and welcome everybody. I see that you are coming in, so feel free to walk around. This is an informal session. How can a sweet company like us be so formal? Yes, I'm gonna use some data and I'm gonna bring some inspiration, but at the end, we are one big family, the travel retail family. And today, in my presentation, the big mission is that I want to inspire all of you, regardless if you are in a brand, retailer, or airport side, to try to think differently, and together we can solve the structural challenges of our industry. Let me start with these. The global travel retail industry, we hear it for many, many years now, unfortunately, faces two big challenges. One is that the penetration is declining. The second, that the average transaction value is also declining. So before coming here today to you, we quickly checked that how does it look in Asia versus the global numbers. And what we see, on what you see in this table as well, that when it comes to penetration, 10 years ago, indeed, we had much, much bigger ratio of people who bought something. These are the travelers where back then in Asia, almost 4 out of 10 bought something in the travel retail journey. Today in Asia, it's still higher than the global, but it's down to 3. If we think about the average spend here as well, the decade of change impacted us a lot. More than $100 drop. Still, Asia leads, but now we are further down. So that's why you can imagine, and I'm sure that in many, many other executive discussion, it's part of it that should we walk away from the channel? Should we invest? How much should we invest? What is the size of price? So that's why 100% Mondelēz does not want to walk away, but rather want to invest, because what we did is we invested in a big survey last year across 32 airports, and we actually asked people that would you be willing to spend in your travel retail journey if there would be the right offer, and would you actually buy confectionery? And what makes me very, very happy that there is room for all of us. What you see on the left-hand side is those people, those 97 out of 10 who today don't buy anything from duty-free. They say that if the right offer would be available, they would be open to spend. As you see, if you add together the two green bubbles, 5 out of 10 is the potential of growth when it comes to penetration. In Asia, this is 6. So we can be super proud in this region that when it comes to opportunity, it's bigger than in any other regions. Equally, if we check those who are already in the store and bought something from perfume, cosmetic, or other categories, they as well, they say that if there would be the right offer available for you, they would buy something. 7 out of 10 across the globe, but 8 out of 10 in Asia. So that's why definitely it's a big motivation to grow. But what we like to say that these numbers are just the end game. Definitely these are the ones which will drive money for all of us and better experience and value for the passengers. And this is the topic of today's presentation. How do we drive value? More particularly, I will speak about innovation, how we bring value with innovation. But before that, I love formulas. So and this is not unique to travel retail. This is always unique. When you buy something, there are some painful things, like you need to pay something. So it's something where you need to invest money. The other pain element, which brings the perceived value down, if it is difficult to find. And imagine, we worked together with a behavior scientist, and we asked him that, please travel in 5 different airports and share with us how was your experience. But he said that, oh my goodness, it's full of things which I never saw before. It's super difficult to navigate. It felt a little bit overwhelming. So this kind of time investment, we need to help them to better navigate. Let's make the costly part as optimal as it is possible. But I would like to turn the attention on the other side of coin, the experience, which will drive the perceived value up. What can we do together about it? First of all, we can create something which they feel that it's much better quality. Often it can be the product, very often it's the brand itself, the trust what we sometimes build over 100 years, but equally the relevance. Depending on the touch point on the shopper journey, you cannot sell the same thing. You need to adjust either the size, the packaging, the offer, which is relevant in that moment for the passenger itself. And finally, but not least, the reward. I think working in marketing in this industry is the most rewarding one, not only for the passenger, but also for us, because you create something special. And this triggered us to launch last year in October. We call it Destination Value Industry Growth Vision. And this is not for Mondelēz, this is for all of you, to take it as a formula, inspire your own program, blend it with your own brands, own portfolio, and make the growth beneficial for everybody, but most importantly, for the passengers. I will walk you through that, what we inspire with this. We want to reimagine the total duty-free shopping, and not only thinking about duty-free, but thinking about the entire journey of the travelers. As we heard it today morning as well in the conference, it's not only in that couple of minutes when you are in the store. It starts much earlier, already at the moment when people book their flight, when they are thinking about it, where will they travel, what should they pack in their suitcase. So this is the first pillar where together, when it comes to innovation, we need to think about ideas that how a certain innovation can boost talkability or being relevant closer to the trip. If you boost the pre-planning, the purchase and the value will be higher for all of us. The second pillar speaks about penetration, footfall, and the number of people who decide to buy something. Here we can turn everything what we know from purchase drivers or actual purchase barrier into opportunity. This is where you need to dig a little bit deeper on the insight on your particular brand or product and turn them into opportunity. The third and second pillar, maybe an airport would equally call it average transaction value. The reason why I like to pull it apart, because you have different actions when you want to drive the number of items in the basket up, which is the drive volume, or if you want to drive the actual item price up. With this overview, you will have all the ideas as well that what you can do in order to drive growth with each of the pillars. Many of you who are familiar with category management, you would say that, okay, this is a similar formula. What is new in that sense for travel retail? Two elements. One is that collectively, we need to think about value differently, not only about the price, but as you saw in the formula before, the total equation of the value. And the second one, which will make some of you unease, is that forget about the silos, forget about the single touch point of duty-free, the single touch point of F&B, or the convenience store. There is one passenger, and her or his journey is the most important for all of us to make it special. And this is the journey which now I will take you. So imagine that you are no longer a business person, you are from now on a passenger who will walk with us on the passenger journey. And we start with the first innovation. But in order to start with the first innovation, we need to better understand that what are the insights which we will trigger. And the first one, driving consideration, and I will deep dive into the boost talkability. If I think back versus 10 years ago, the data what you saw before, there is significant difference how people are making decisions and how do they decide that what they want to buy. Over half of the people today make decisions and being influenced by user-generated content. The old-fashioned TV advertisement is back in history. Not worthwhile to invest in it because it will not drive anything for you. We need to create something which will be worthwhile to talk about it, and people will trust their peers much better versus a paid advertisement. But in another element, okay, we are clear that we need to create something which will trigger user-generated content. So that's why, together with our team, we started to double-click that what these people who are very much willing to post about it, what are they interested in it? And if you see, they are very much want something which is fun. Gen Zs are much more into things which is funny, experiential, something which is actually brings smile on their face. But they like design. They definitely want something which looks special. They feel that it's designed for them. and it is pleasing for the eyes as well. And what makes me very happy is that they also very much into brands, but brands in a way that they like the brand's personality, but in a way how it is relevant for their life as well. So we brands, we need to be able to stretch a little bit, but give them the love, what they deserve. So with all this insight, plus blending it with our brands, what we have in our portfolio, we created a very special innovation. Only 6,000 pieces, a Toblerone pink crush bar was created, handmade, and created only exclusively for one single airport. And instead of me showing that how it impacted the traveler journey, I would like to share with you how it came to life just a couple of months ago.
Travel retail is thriving. With 8 billion passengers annually, airports have become destinations. Yet today's distracted traveler, especially Gen Z, craves more than products. They want exclusives. They fear missing out. They seek stories they can't find at home. The Toblerone bar is a travel icon. But to lead the future, we had to be never square. Partnering with Qatar Duty Free, we attempted the impossible, to turn the full journey pink with just 6,000 exclusive pink crush bars. Silos vanished as we engaged travelers at every touch point. This was more than a launch, it was a total ecosystem takeover. With pre-flight emails, in-flight screens, and on the ground, a visual domination. Pink buggies roamed and screens turned pink, guiding passengers to our multi-sensorial store, which featured Vogue-style photo moments, a discovery table, and a luxury-like service with serialized pink crush bars, personalized berry-scented certificates, and premium packaging. For one day, we even gamified exclusivity. Travelers hunted elusive pink agents wearing giant QR codes. It wasn't shopping, it was a chase, an experience usually reserved for high-fashion luxury. Amplified by influencers and global media partnerships, the impact was unprecedented. 6.4 million digital impressions, a 12 million passenger reach, over 31% brand growth, over 18% category growth. We proved that when passenger centricity meets a never square mindset, you don't just sell chocolate, you create a legend.
And kudos or Qatar Duty Free group partners as well, because it was a heavy lifting of over 100 people. And the innovation here was not about the ingredients in the chocolate. The innovation here was about how we can boost every single element of that journey into something which is Instagrammable, talkable, and make one single airport activation famous. And in that way, how we can make the total travel retail experience famous as well. But let me shift to the next growth driver, which is talking about how we can reduce the entry barrier. And for that, we need to understand better that what is the number one issue why people do not buy today with us. And it sounds very simple. They are actually on the journey for a holiday. So the number one, over 20% of the people who will say it's that they don't want to carry. Imagine that they have small suitcase. There will be certain airlines who would charge for them if they cannot fit that one in their suitcase. So what can we do for these passengers to be still able to surprise the loved ones and give something for everybody? And the answer is simple. If you have an icon like the 340-gram bar in case of Toblerone, make it a little bit tinier, but still it's a medium size, so it fits in your suitcase and you can make sure that people can please their loved ones. What we also did, we checked it with Gen Z, is that if it is a gift what you bring back from your travels, what would be your message on it? And all of these messages are different from the standard big bars, which is more traditional, safer choices. These ones are showcasing languages like seriously epic travel. And by having both medium and big size offer, we can see that you can unlock something which was a barrier before and turn it into a purchase driver. Let's move forward to the journey in the shopping. So you already had the opportunity that maybe you heard about the Instagram post, but you only had a small space in your bag, so you bought the Toblerone bar. But you go in the other area of the airport and you recognize that maybe there are other occasions as well what I need during my trip. And this is where collectively we really need to understand that how our product will be consumed. What are the primary reasons? Who do you consume this one with? Where, when in the consumer journey? And just very quickly to fleshing up, in case of confectionery, the number one consumption occasion is that very often we eat it alone. But I always love to remind for my bosses that this is not the snacking. You are in travel mode. This is the self-reward. This is when something special, you deserve the best. It's not those little things. You want a bigger things. Definitely, you ticked the own consumption, you get the best reward. Gifting, we saw some ideas on that one as well. But there is a third one, which is sharing. And in Asia, it is spiking even more. Because here people tend to be very generous, or they are actually traveling together with others. So we need to make sure that when you are on the sharing moment as well, there is something for everybody. And one important thing is, which I loved in the focus group, when one poor mom said that, yes, we always buy this sharing pack, and I'm always left with the leftover, with the dark chocolate, but luckily I like that one the most, because my kids very quickly eat the others. So I think when it comes to innovation, we need to think about these people in the mind, understand that who wants what, and then bring those sharing packs in the occasion, what is relevant in that journey. Let me show you some of the ideas which you may take for your brands as well. So the equation is simple. You just put together many of the well-known products, and you put it in a format which is easy to carry and can be very easily be part of the journey itself. And finally, we arrived on the last and fourth growth driver of today's journey, which speaks about how do we drive value? How do we show them that what they buy in duty-free is something special? And this is when product selling story plays a very significant role. In case of chocolate, the product selling story always, regardless where you are, needs to start with the taste. Taste is the number one driver when you pick up a chocolate. But in the same time, 10 years ago, the way how people bought chocolate was different versus what they expect today. Today, they want something new. They want the different flavor combination, different textures, blending some biscuit together with chocolate as well, have the saltiness, have the different flavors in a chocolate type, what they know. And this inspires our research and development centers as well. So if you are in your own industry and in your own categories, if you know what is important for the product selling story, don't push the brand message. Push the ones which is relevant for them, what will trigger them to feel that it's specially created for them. What we created, and you will have the opportunity to taste in maybe in 10-15 minutes, I will show you, it brings taste sensation. In case of crispy caramel, the salted element and the caramel pieces bring something which is new for a brand which is over 100 years old. You can lift it and keep your brand modern by blending it with the insight, what you know about your current consumers. And after the session, when you walk out in this way, you will have the opportunity to taste it for yourself, and you will decide if this is your flavor, or maybe you have a different flavor. It's perfectly fine to have everybody's different version. But before I focus on the actual only innovations, I want you to remember to one thing, that yes, we showed you some Mondelēz examples, we shared with you some data as well, but for me personally, what is very important that we always start with the insight. We need to understand the passenger the best, but at the end, innovation is always made with the heart, because it needs to be relevant for your brand, it needs to be something unique, and also you need to trust your gut feel and special knowledge about both the shopping occasion and also about your product knowledge as well. So dare to innovate with your heart as well. And finally, but not least, for me, it's very special to say that all of us are here to drive growth for the travel retail industry. But if you think about it, it's totally different from domestic market, because here people are not coming to us with the purpose of buying something. They are there to travel. And one thing which makes me very privileged, that I know that most people, even the ones who potentially struggle financially, will prioritize travel. So we all should do the very best that if they prioritize the investment in travel, every single second what they spend with us needs to be memorable, special, and we need to boost those values together. Today, I showed you some examples on how you can boost value through innovation, but it's a big call to action for all of us that please join us and make those journeys very memorable for all of the passengers. Thank you for your attention, and let's go a little bit selfish at the moment, because I shared with you that in Qatar, we launched a pink bar just a couple of months ago. But a couple of days ago, we launched something unique only for Changi Airport Group, and we co-innovated this product with them. The innovation journey started very similarly to the Qatar one, that we said that we want something which is talkable, relevant for the region. Being European, we briefed our research and development team that please put some Asian trendy flavors in it. So they created a flavor. You will see that which one. We brought it to Changi Airport Group executive team, and they said that, this is too sweet for our regions. So we went back, took on board all their comments, and we created this very special flavor, which I will reveal you in a second.